sun look in this joint.
Hi, friends. My name is host Eric. I'm here with my beloved Rachel.
Hi.
And today I ask the provocative question: are INFPs and INFJs natural enemies, doomed forever to reciprocally blame point? You know what reciprocal blame pointing is, don't you, Rachel?
No.
It's your fault, but you're doing the same thing to me. You do the same thing to me, though.
No, it's your fault.
That's reciprocal blame pointing. Hi, David Sanderson. So,
hey, David Sanderson.
It's my contention here in this provocatively titled and themed live stream that yes, INFPs and INFJs are natural enemies.
Yeah.
And they're going to inevitably play reciprocal blame pointing.
Okay, so what inspired you to make this the title of the live stream?
Somebody in the last live stream said, people want to watch videos that have interesting things about their type in the title.
True.
That's what made me want to do it. I thought, well, that's a good title. Those are two types that are around a lot.
It's an odd combination. Okay, first of all, to be totally honest, the friendship always feels like it was forced. One INFP girl that I knew, because I used to talk about socionics and MBTI with her. She was new. She didn't have any place to sit for lunch, so she sat with us. But then she grew an attachment to me, and I was like, I enjoy our friendship a lot and our conversations because we were able to have conversations about occult stuff. So astrology, and she was into comic books and trading cards and mystical stuff. So we were able to talk about it, but I told her, unfortunately, in probably not the most socially graceful way, that she had to make more friends because she couldn't lean on me because I wasn't always going to be able to be there for her emotionally as a friend, especially if we were working together. I
would imagine that for INFP and INFJ, the initial blush of interaction is probably pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
Because at first, what both parties are seeing is just the conscious extroverted function. So the innie of the INFP validates on her fifth slot, INFJ's at fifth slot. The FE of the INFJ validates on INFP's fifth slot. So the initial impression is of two more extroverted people than they are, engaging in their extroverted tool functions. But as time passes, what comes to be the predominant issue is that their dominant function is countervalued by the other. So NI is countervalued by INFP, and FI is countervalued by INFJ.
Yeah.
And they're likely to think each other alternately either fussy, unnecessarily fussy, or just basically too aquatic, versus on the other hand, they'll see them as, I think INFP will have, INFP wants to sit there and commiserate about what they're talking about for a long period of time.
For a long time.
And the thing is, INFJ is down to do extended kind of talks about ideas, but not so much about moisture.
Yeah. No, definitely not. We hit a point. It's that we have that battery life, and the more FI is brought into the conversation, the lower and the lower tolerance we have it for hearing about it. And I think as an INFJ, the INFP could probably see the INFJ being really cold. Really cold and harsh. I had a friend for a year who was an INFP. I, right off the bat, was wary about hanging out with her because I just was. But she started talking with me. I learned that she lived in the same town as me, and we both smoked weed, so we made a weed smoking hangout date. Everything sounded great, and it was great for a while. Then turns out my suspicions about her, my like gut feeling that I didn't want to talk to her that night, the night that I first met her, was right, because she turned out to be like underage. Like she was like way younger than she admitted she was.
I see.
Yeah, so she was like,
She said she was like in her 20s. She was still in high school.
yeah, like she was like I was 30 at the time, and she was like maybe 19.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't terrible, but still, I was like, you could have. I wouldn't have thought, like, I thought that I wouldn't have been friends with her then, truthfully. I would have been like, this is a lot. That's a big gap.
Mhm.
Like, you have some learning, and I've already done that, and I want to be there. So I kind of felt manipulated that she didn't tell me, because the truth is that I wouldn't have been friends with her as long as I was if she had told me the truth about her age. I would have said no. But she lied about her age for a very long time, and we did get close. And she did help me out like a lot when it came to guys. She, would be honest with, which I didn't really come to her for much, because I wasn't dating. But there was one time when I was dating, and she did give me very sound, good advice. Like basically, if something feels wrong, and it looks wrong, it probably is wrong. Like something probably is happening. But yeah, we didn't listen to each other. Like you were saying, it's kind of like the na. Like,
The thing about it is, when the INFP's any fails to serve its purpose. So let's say the INFJ does come to the INFP for some sort of advice. Well, then any is not going to be purposeful, because the INFP will just go back and forth between this, that, or the other thing. But if they do, if that fails, then they'll turn to what? Their sixth slot. That's your backup tool function. When your second slot function is not enough, then you use your backup tool function, basically, which is sixth slot. Problem is, when Rachel says to, or an INFJ says to an INFP, okay, not enough with your NE, give me a little something else. They're going to get sixth slot NI. And the NI dom is going to go, what's that weak ass shit? So
yeah.
FPs and FJs are the perfect friends and fit together? I don't think so.
I mean, we were friends for a year. So Rafael Aveos asked, so if she lied about the age, but you came together anyway, what's the point of your age difference? Okay, so I had my doubts in the beginning. What I'm trying to say is I had my NI was telling me something was off with her. And I went against it. So we became close over a year, and I learned that she was younger than she was. I was 30, she was 19. The truth is that if she had told me in the beginning, I'm 19, even if she was like a smoker, I probably would have been like, you're too young for me right now. I don't have time for that bullshit. It's just true. And then she would come to me with her emotional stuff, and the answers that I had for her were all honest, and she wasn't taking them.
Well, she doesn't take. That's the thing that's going to frustrate the INFJ is the INFP doesn't take advice. They seek advice and they give advice. They don't take advice. Raphael, you're trying to parse out something here that's, look, the fact is, whether or not Rachel did spend time with her at 19, it's like, obviously, it makes a difference when you discover that you've been hanging out with somebody on according to false pretenses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Especially like I was like, I had my suspicions, you know, there were suspicions there. But I never asked, so that's on my part, you know. I chose to believe her. And then we were a little bit friendly. But then she became friendlier with my friend, our mutual friend, ENTP, Jen. And I door slammed them both at the same time. Because I was like, you guys work your shit out. Because there was shit there too. Because Jen was pissed off also that Alyssa lied, but she was more understanding than I was. I was more like, at first I was like, age is really not that big of a deal. So like, you really did not have to lie about that. Like, but I did tell her, I was like, honestly, Alyssa, I wouldn't have been friends with you if you had told me you know, so I do feel manipulated. Like, exactly, what the fuck did you lie about? She definitely she had a crush on Jen. It was like a big whole thing that I door slammed. Sorry. That's how INFJs work.
I have the feeling that there is a bad notion out there that INFPs don't gain maturity. I don't think that that's broadly seen as to be the case, but I would say that I've witnessed in at least a couple of INFPs, I guess you'd say, stalling out in some regard. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that many.
Yeah, lying about age and any constitution. So, to be fair, to come around from the other side and put myself in another person's shoes, I dated someone who assumed I was younger than I was. He was 25, and at the time I was like 7 years older or something. I don't know.
32. 32.
So maybe he was younger. Maybe he was 23 or something like that. I feel like 25. This is like 20. I was 30. I was 29 and he was 25.
Okay, so it was 4 years older.
I don't know. I feel like he was younger. No, he was younger. He was born in 90. It was like 6 years. 6 years apart. Okay, so.
What was his name?
Mike.
What was his personality type?
Probably ESTP. Or I don't know. We didn't date. It wasn't long at all. We didn't really like each other. But anyway, he assumed I was a certain age, and I felt so bad. I talked to even my mom about it. I was like, Mom, he thinks that I'm like his age, and I just went along with it, and I didn't correct myself. I'm like, I have to talk to him about it. Like, so I did. You know, I told him, I was like, look, you know, this was early on. I would say it would be like a month in. So I nipped it in the bud like right away because I really did not like the feeling of lying about my age, like letting someone, I don't know, letting someone think that I was something that I'm not. It's not a good start. Did you think it was a big
deal when you told him?
At first I think no. But then I think yes. And we ended things and he ended up with someone who was closer to his age. So it just ended amicably, you know? Like, we just understood. It's like, it was too much of a difference. And we didn't really like each other.
I mean, You can imagine lots of situations where one party says something, the other party infers some meaning from that it's not intended, and operates on some assumption, and it never gets asked explicitly. It's easy to conceive of a situation in which that doesn't happen,
But because I did the right thing, I wanted it to come back to. I grew up as a kid who was insecure and used to lie a lot. So I do my best to say the truth now because I hated the way it made me feel. Like I felt like everything in my life was fake. Hey Zaylin, hey Trinity, Shashma, good afternoon to you as well.
Dustin Salisbury, yeah, I don't enjoy it, but I can't really say anything because I talk about shit from that happened during my previous relationships too.
So, I'm sorry.
No, you have nothing to apologize for.
It was so like short-lived and nothing. It was just me. I was trying to explain my truth is that I really try not to lie about things, even age. It makes me feel bad because I think that if people do lie, it makes it easy to lie more often. It's like, oh, I got away with this lie, so I can probably hide other things too.
David Sanderson, I temporarily made you a moderator so you can put a link to it right here. Well, I mean...
Yeah, it's much easier to speak.
Obviously, if I was concerned that somebody might be underage, obviously I'd be sure. I mean, but I wouldn't be dating somebody that close to the barrier anyway, so... now you should be able to put a link, and then I'll make you then I'll unmoderate you.
I don't think we're enemies. It's just that the friendships don't last very long.
Well, there's some built-in conflicts there, right? That SI third slot is a strong absolute value for the INFP, and that 8 slot SI doesn't like to be pushed on at all.
No.
So there's potential conflict, and the correlate I think is the same as well, isn't it? It's like third slot TI, 8 slot TI.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to. Yeah, the truth. It's so true. It's
first and sixth, and then third and eighth. That's not a good recipe for mine.
Like one instance is that she always had weed, which was great, and a lot of times we would go Dutch on it. Like she would put in 20 and I would put in 20. And then like we would spend the day together. And because we were into like the occult stuff, we would like play with my playing cards. I had an oracle deck before I started off with tarot.
Welcome to Name It.
So yeah, like I forgot them at her place, and I was just like, you can keep them, because she would like obsessively like play with the cards, and she would like send me text messages like, you're gonna watch out, you might have a bad day, because I said occult.
Occult.
Occult, yeah.
Occult. It means like magics and stuff.
Yeah. So like I had oracle cards and we were playing with them, and she got really like obsessed into them. I forgot them at her house, so I gave them to her. I'm like, you know what, you've been having a lot of fun with them, you keep them. And then she, like I said, like she would pull card for me, and then she would send like messages like, beware of your day, it might go bad, and blah blah blah. I'm like, why are you telling me this?
Some people are not I would say that's not either. It's weak in eye, probably, because somebody with weak in eye, they might assume you're not going to be impacted by that. If they don't use NI, they're not going to sort of apply that friend out to their day.
Yeah.
So they're not going to notice it like
it's
that.
so interesting because you know that tarot card and numerology app I have?
Mm-hmm.
I got that from her. She told me about it. But then she put it in. It was such an interesting combination. She put my information into her phone, so she was trying to tell me stuff about my life, and I was like, Alyssa, like, why don't you ask about my birthday? Like, ask my birthday number and date and time and birth. Like, she would just like I just like stopped believing anything that came out of her mouth. I have to say.
Magic's not the sort of thing that amateurs do a good job of.
No, not at all.
Both parties in an INFP relationship have to get over themselves for it to work, but it can work. I think it can work,
Yeah.
but I think that it kind of has to ride the periphery of between, good acquaintances and close friends.
Yeah.
If you get too close,
Don't get too close.
it'll cause problems. If you get too separated, then it'll just split apart.
Yeah, and without any problems either. I've come across a lot of INFPs in my lifetime. Actually, I had a coworker who was an INFP, and again, like when we were close, we were really close. But then, when it came to emotional stuff, I didn't have enough to give. And they didn't take advice. So it was like a circle of shallow acquaintanceship. Like we were good at work. I think we're good acquaintances. Like it's like at a party, I can see an INFJ and an INFP talking to each other and probably talking to each other about like, their like interests, like anime, cartoons, and maybe the Marvel movies that came out and occult things. They definitely like the occult. One thing that I learned about INFPs is that they're not afraid of dark magic, where now this could be personal just for me, but I do not do any dark magic.
Me neither.
Congratulations, Kim Krishna Somapugu!
What happened for Kanki and Krishna Sarapagoo?
She got a promotion.
I thought she was a student.
She got a new job. Oh, never mind. Who got a new job and a new promotion?
Oh, that's Jason. Anchorblood.
Jason. Oh, never mind.
Jason Blood.
Sorry, Kanki and Krishna Somapugu. I forgot you're in school.
Yeah. It's as high up as you go in school.
Jason got a job. That's cool. I'm glad he did. He was counting his money for a while. Oh my gosh, itchy boobs.
Your boobs are itchy? Is it because you have boob circles on?
You can always help out with that.
So, David Sanderson, are you one of the people debating this?
Kitty pageant winner! The Capillo!
So it's just audio?
I love P&P. I was worried about you, so happy to see you. Are okay.
ENFJs are a little ragey and stuff, but that's really all I do to keep respect. And every now and then, try to make them feel like you're trying to give them an experience. Okay. Hi, Matthew. Matthew Alistair is here.
Hey, Matthew Alistair.
Did you bring the fullness of your heart to bear today?
Running basket. I feel you. King Krishna Saram Pagu. I explore dark stuff for sure. I have to, because that's in my nature. I have to know, but I always wish the best for everyone, and I just don't practice anything dark. That's it. I choose not to.
David Sanderson says that video he linked highlights the difference between good and evil. I mean, T-I-N-T. Some good coffee. Would you like to try some of it, my darling?
I would like to. And I also want to bash INFJs too, because I feel I want to even out the playing. So I had many times in my INFP relationships, which would be friendships, I had plenty of times to ask them the truth, you know? I had plenty of times where I could have been more upfront. And the truth is that we aren't the best of friends to INFPs because ultimately we see them, their FI as being babyish sometimes. Like,
but not the cute kind of babyish.
Right. Like she was searching for a job and she was like crying about it. And I just it was very hard for me. I couldn't mother her.
Well, an INFJ is only going to sit there and listen to, I don't know what to do. I love him, but he's also awful.
Yes.
So many times before, and respond to them, well, you should meow or you should meow.
Right.
Before they don't want to talk about it anymore. Because there's no point in spending time unnecessarily in the FI. You know, resolving FI states of distress may be an important part of FE tool. But you expect it to resolve in very short order. It's work, you know?
Yeah, I felt like a bad friend, too. I did, because I felt cold. I mean, I felt cold. I felt like I was being, especially when, like, Jen was being nicer to her than I was. Like, I was like, damn, I'm being a bitch. But I just, you know, like I said, I could have asked her at any time, you know, hey, like, it seems like, you know, you're like, I heard you over the phone the other day and your birthday didn't match up with the age that you are. Like, I could have totally nipped it in the bud, but the truth of it was that at that time, I didn't have many friends. And she was someone who I could talk to about metaphysical stuff. It just was one of those friendships that had an expiration date on it, and I didn't handle that well.
Well, here's the thing. If I were going to bash INFJs in this whole equation a bit, or to put some negative spin on them about it, I would say simply that INFJs would like, and consistently when dealing with people, to basically be positive and reinforcing towards the person as a means of drawing out what they really want. Well, if I don't give you any resistance, I'll find out what you really want, right?
Yeah, that is the tactic.
And then once I find it out, then the resistance will come out.
That's when
because you're anticipating to see if they're going to go there or not or whatever. But the thing about that is, let me finish what I'm saying about it though, is that there's no rest. It's very non-reciprocal, right? So the INFJ is not affording you the same courtesy of transparency that they are eliciting from.
No, because it's like I knew something was off, but I wasn't saying it.
And INFPs are going to at first have no problem with that because it lets them be the FI and the INFJ be the FE. But the real validation of FI is going to eventually say, but hold on, you're not sharing with me your authentic self.
Yeah. Okay, and a shitty thing that maybe INFJs do too is once I found out that all it was she was lying about her age. When I found out that she was that she had just turned 21 instead of being 21 already for the year that I knew her, or like just turning the legal age, something. She had a big birthday and she kind of couldn't lie about it anymore. She couldn't go on. INFJs will be like, really? That's it? Like, why didn't you just like tell us earlier about it? Seem like it's okay. And then think about it later, process it, and be like, all right, I have all the data that I need. I knew something was off. I don't really want this person as a friend. So it can seem, we can make it seem like we're okay with you lying to us about that, because age, that's not a big thing to lie about. But after a lot of thought, I want a person to be upfront with me, and I'm actually not okay with the lie that you told me. So I changed my mind, and we're not going to be friends anymore. And it's sad because it's a mind fuck a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to say that in some instances, at least, you end up feeling as much loss as the person who you're excommunicating.
Yeah.
And sometimes you regret it. And
Truth, yeah.
Although you're unlikely to present it as such in general, I would say.
Yeah, I felt the loss. I definitely did. I feel all the losses. That's why I usually take some time to heal from things. I want to know what you think about what Lero A has to ask about INFP and ESTJ. Do you think they would make a good relationship?
INFP and ESTJ?
Yes.
Well, according to Socionics, they're duals, and yes, they would. They make a good couple according to Socionics.
I think so too.
But I've never actually seen a successful INFP ESTJ couple. It should seem like it should work because they're both physical types. So the dual in that instance is the same as the Eric dual. Eric duals are INFJ instead of ENTP. Oh shit! God damn it! Bong water, bong water.
It's a stinky stain.
Yeah, it's a stinky leg grave. It seems like it should work. According to me, it's the ideal relationship for that pair. When you have judgers, according to me, then you want it lined up just like that, where you've got the intuitive with the sensor. But when you have perceivers, you want the intuitives with the intuitives.
I'm gonna look for the work that I did the other day with the
Coolio.
How can I be so dense?
Well, are you made out of lead?
Maybe my brain is. Yeah.
Do INFJs speak their mind on issues they're passionate about or not? I mean, you'll hear Rachel speak her mind on a variety of things. Let me readdress to Ken Christian Simon Purdue's question here. Eric, what is it about Rachel that you think you are not getting enough that feels unfair? Nothing feels unfair. I don't feel like anything's unfair at all. When I brought that up as a point, it's not built of personal experience. That's not my reaction to it because unlike everybody else, I actually feel one step ahead by and large.
Okay.
Well, with INFJs.
Yeah, you do.
Because, I don't feel as though I'm being manipulated at all.
That is Pete.
Yep, there's Pete. Pete's been like hanging out in the backyard all day today.
Yeah.
What's a red flag to you? Peacocks?
Where did I put the bomb? Oh, there it is.
If a girl's got a peacock, that's a red flag.
That is
I don't know anything to do with that lady. Too loud.
way too loud.
Annie H says, I have a crush on an INFJ guy, but he frustrates me. Well, Raphael, how can not feeling manipulated be a red flag? If not feeling manipulated is a red flag, then what in the world is feeling manipulated?
Yeah! Oh my gosh, can I just say I'm admiring you right now because I love your smiley face.
What do I think about intermittent fasting? I think it's the thing that naturally occurs between meals. And you mean doing it intentionally? I think it's a dumb idea. It just sounds like being hungry for no reason. I don't do well when I'm hungry. I get fussy, I get pussy, and I turn into a hussy. How he talks to people is judgy about their intelligence. Who talks to people? Oh, the INFJ person? I don't want to be on the receiving end of it. Right.
I get that.
If you feel manipulated, it's no manipulation anymore. If you don't feel it, feels like more likely that you are right now.
Hey, it was 222.
No, I'm saying, but the reason I gave for not feeling manipulated is because I understand their processes and I don't feel as though it's happening without my knowledge being informed because I feel like I understand them.
Yeah.
And I think the big problem with INFJs is most people they're interacting with, they don't think that they can do, they certainly can't have sort of subtextual conversation as an equal with the other person. They are utilizing subtext to try to communicate with them and also to try to figure out how best to communicate with them. They're not trying to manipulate people. They're trying to genuinely understand how to communicate with them. But
Yeah.
There's a lot of I mean, you can draw a lot of intuitive meanings from stuff that's said between people. And so INFJs are very cautious because they don't want to convey meanings they don't intend to convey. And they don't want to assume meanings that are false. If you feel like you figured out someone, then you're being manipulated, right? No. I'm saying that if you are an INFJ, you have no choice but to deal with people in the communicative realm who understand the processes of the communicative realm in a less nuanced way than you do. It's specifically about interface,
Yeah. We want to understand you so that we can bring more harmony or like to the conversation.
Well, the other thing is, in a sense, we all understand what it means to have to simplify something of ourselves to make it accessible to others. So I understand when what's certainly plausible and sort of comfortable state of any expectations. If somebody were to expect it from me, if I expect it from somebody else, I realize, okay, no, I need to tone that down because they're not as good at that as I am. So what I'm saying is we all have our areas of inherent greater clarity than most of the other populations, even our own types. And
Okay. This could be up. Oh no.
all right, so Raphael, you say, what does it mean to be manipulated? There's only one correct answer. Well, it means to take action intended to move somebody and to intentionally not reveal to that person that the action is intended for that purpose. That's what it means to manipulate somebody. Specifically, it means that you're saying something like instead of being forthright and saying perhaps, hey, I my date canceled for this dinner I got to go to tonight. Will you go with me? Take it as a favor. You go, hey, I just got these tickets. And the first person I thought to ask, after you asked like 6 other people before, right? First person I thought to ask is you. Why? Because you are the most special one for me. Will you, I know you're going to love this. And you're really pitching what a great show it's going to be and stuff. And there's no honesty underneath what you're saying, because you're not admitting that, look, I'm in a pinch, I need your help, will you do me a favor? You're trying to position it as you're doing it a favor for them. And then they go, oh, that sounds great. But then, you painted it up real promising. When they get there, it's not going to quite meet the expectations. And they realize that they were like the fourth choice, and that you just need them there because, not because you like them, but you just need a body there for some pictures or something. Then it's going to be then the person's going to be like, I got manipulated here. I got manipulated. So that's what manipulation looks like. It's when somebody's willfully anticipating that person A is going to respond to stimulus B with action C, but pretending as though they're completely not motivated thusly.
What up, utter self?
Yo. Asked herself, did I miss the answer? Are INFPs and INFJs natural enemies? The answer is yes. Forever doomed to be at each other's throats, thrashing and wailing away. F.I. cries the INFP. It's the moisture of my own experience. And then the INFJ goes, no, the resonance of the universal. And they go, pew, 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 pew. Who wins in a fight, INFP or INFJ? I'm going beta quadrant. I think INFJ wins in the fight. Because I think INFPs, maybe it depends. If it's a boxing match, INFJ wins. If INFP has been driven to berserker FI rage, then maybe INFP wins.
I feel like I was like, if I was raged up.
Don't worry, baby. Before you fight against the INFP, I'm gonna roid the fuck out of you. We're gonna be injecting roids for weeks. You're gonna get all buffed out.
Yeah,
right?
my voice will change.
Yeah, and you get some rage. You get rage. You hurt feelings, me putch. Who hurt feelings, me putch? FI super adorable, but fucking hell can it be annoying? I kind of agree with that. Both. The rage core.
Yeah.
Let's all join together for some exciting rage core. All rage, you rage, we'll all rage for some rage core.
Oh, ISFP with their FI as well. Like ISFPs working at drug and mental health counseling places and going home fucking stuffing fatty blunts at the end of their workday. Like, don't you see the hypocrisy in that?
ISFPs, you don't. I don't see any hypocrisy in that. ISFPs, they seem like they don't really have any fight in them until you until you say I think it should be this, and they're dead set that it shouldn't be that or whatever. As I encountered when I dealt with Katie, Taylor's ISFP girlfriend, then they turn into like just this, the sound of a mountain lion's roar cascading from the clouds above and the heavens above that, and making you go, okay, never mind. I don't care that much. You care way more than I do, obviously.
Well, what would it be?
Well, in that case, it was something important. It was, our respective recommendations for how Taylor should approach his legal problems when he had been arrested for drugs.
Oh.
And they didn't want to go on the offensive like I did. Taylor probably thought it was best to go on the offensive, but didn't want to. I mean, when the prosecutor's throwing around charges that are extremely big, then it makes sense you tend to err on the side of caution, even when it's actually incautious to do so. Are ENTPs and INTJs natural enemies? I would say ENTPs and ENTJs are natural enemies. And the reason is because, of course, it's the same as the INFP INFJ. It's we validate on the 5th. The other one validates on the 5th, but we don't validate on the tool function of the ENTP validates. The dominant function of the ENTJ validate. The tool function of each validate, but the dominant function doesn't. ENTJs and ENTPs. That's the equivalent. Dogs are ESFPs, opposite of cats. I think dogs have way more FE. I mean, dogs with really terrible FE who are always like, those might be ESFPs, but most dogs have good FE, and I think they're not ESFPs. I think my ex-dog was an ISFJ.
Yeah.
Well, not my ex-dog, my dead dog, I guess. My former dog.
Yeah.
My RIP dog. INFP and INFJ sex is really good, though. Well, cool. ISFJ sex. You have to watch out. Get wild.
Talk about warmth.
Hi. Those politest, just
Keep
most vanilla, polite. Yeah.
Keep socks on.
My cat is definitely FI. My cat's definitely FIT. She's a wonderful ISFP. Now, ISFPs can be very delightful if you get them in cat form.
If you get them in cat form, can you scratch an itch that I have?
I can.
Right here.
I'm a scratchy scratch, scratching all your itches for you.
Thank
you. Juicy itch scratch. ESTJ ISTP sex is violent, I bet. Probably.
Yes, yeah, probably.
I picture ESTJ ISTP sex as taking turns being assholes to each other.
I'd like to do more with what you were talking about, how the hierarchy.
Organizational structure.
Yeah, I would like to, and if I could help
too.
you out with that, I'd love to.
That sounds fun. I'm pretty tired for this afternoon.
I'm not.
But yeah, totally.
That's totally fine. My baby gets his rest when he needs to get his rest.
Yeah, I was feeling a little fussy. Feeling a little fussy earlier today.
I didn't know that.
I just general fussiness, not big. The whole re-shutdown shit is bugging me.
I don't get it.
It's just fucking, they're doubling down when they're wrong. So, but I was pretty happy we're getting some work done on this.
Could we get this done really good? Maybe
2,000 days,
tonight.
too many expectations, most of them not even worth a damn. 30,000 nights, sleeping off intoxication, otherwise you can't escape the plan. They wasted half of my days while I trusted their stupid ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? Wait until I know, or is that just hesitation? Clarity's no help once your chance is gone. What I need to show, is it so below my station? I guess I'm tired of doing it wrong. I've wasted half of my days trusting in these people's ways. Who can tell me my priorities? Is there anybody knows the key? 'Cause I think I'm doing this wrong. I think I'm doing this wrong. Do you think you're doing it wrong? We just might be doing it wrong.
DG glasses.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what it says in the words.
I was like,
4 stages of stress, huh?
2024 stages.
4 stages of stress.
Yeah. Putting tea bags on his eyes. I definitely experienced that. Like, all right, I'm just gonna zen out.
Well, I mean, if it was you, Dave Sampson, I probably would have watched it. If it was like you saying, hey, I did this thing and I want you to review it or something, or critique the debate in it or something, then I'd probably watch it. But I mean, as far as the argumentation goes on these issues, I don't expect to learn anything. So I'd just be basically judging a debate round, I guess. I might learn something, but unlikely. Who is the biggest snowflake, INFJ or INFP? I'll probably listen to a little bit of it. I'm assuming I can't put it on right now, or else I'll get copyrighted, right?
Probably.
So let me mute for a second here and see what it sounds like. Yeah, okay. I get the gist of it. He's saying, I mean, the utilitarian is saying that, of course, empiricism is the best metric to use for truth. And what's the problem? There's no distinction between different kinds of statements, what truth is, etc. I'm sure. I just listened to 5 seconds of it in a second. Okay, I can see where there's.
Why are you asking, King Krishna Sampagu? Anyone from Uzbekistan or
By John.
I'm
currently Azerbaijani. Coincidence? Crazy coincidence. I am currently Azerbaijani.
So
it's an Azerbaijani day.
Host Eric.
Yes.
Being now that you are feeling Azerbaijani, what is going on in your life at the current moment that would make it that way?
Okay, well, I'm feeling a passion for sweetmeats cooked in a clay pot, which the Azerbaijani are very fond of. I'm scenting the scent of wild sheep in my nostrils.
Okay.
That's typical for Azerbaijani as well. No more cow cheese for me for today. Just goat cheese and yak cheese, actually. Got a bit of a taste for yak cheese today. And lastly, I have an irrepressible urge to force you to wear covering from head to toe.
Makes sense. I felt that.
Those are all part of being Azerbaijani. It's all part of it. Why would anyone be rude to Ghost Rider? I don't know.
Where's Ghost Rider?
Writing ghosts, I guess. Writing ghosts.
Haven't seen her.
Bunny wolf, though, is a metaphor for male-female polarity. Polarity or parity? Or a combination of both. When you get your polarities mixed up with your parities, you've got polarity. I can kill a fly.
Hey, the big dream.
I sure email the answer, so that'd be fine. You want me to have you make a song? Sure. Cloud. Rude to me. I'm fragile. My feelings are uber sensitive. I'm what you'd call a highly sensitive person, HSP. HSP is what I figured it was pretty obvious, but spelled it out, so there you go. You figured what was pretty obvious. Both INFJs and INFPs are fakes publicly. Both are hiding who they really are, says Joe Wisdom. Thanks, Joe. Are they? The big dream asks. Yes. The answer is yes. They are. They're naturally enemies. Yes, the answer is yes. Now, yes, they are enemies, big dream. And Cloud points out that he's going to demolish my fragile FI. Oh, Cloud. Oh, Cloud, take it easy on me, FI. Okay, cool. Yeah, if I got permission to watch it and offer critiques on watching and stuff, I'd be happy to do that. That'd be fun. Isn't HSP more of a nervous system thing? Don't judge my sensitivity, Annie. For some, their sensitivity comes in a flavor called nervous. For others, their sensitivity comes in a flavor called dampness. And that's mine. Mine's damp, not the other thing. In more cultured nations, we enjoy bunnies and wolves in more literal sense. What does that mean? You enjoy them in a more literal sense. Are they like Hillary Clinton's pizza? Wouldn't the INFP actually hide more than the INFJ? No, because the INFP, while they may want to hide their feelings and stuff, their feelings are conscious. INFJ, they by default are focused externally on other people's feelings when they think about feelings. No, I'm redefining it, Running Fox. I think HSP just means people who have a lot of dewdrops on their tenders.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, look, Annie, I can see them from here. Your tenders are littered with dewdrops. Not the cleanest looking dewdrops I've ever seen either. Okay, a little bit of hygiene, Missy. A little bit of hygiene. Big dream. Hug your local INFP. I'm not sure the city of Arcadia ever got around to electing their local INFP. Nobody ran. Year after year after year, no INFP would step up and run for the office. Every time we think one was, they'd actually be some other type.
That's a good question. Do INFPs like hugs?
Well, I would say yes.
Do you think they give them more than they get them?
Probably.
Yeah. We were talking about, I think that Justin Bieber is an INFP, and I was listening to one of his like newer songs that came out while I was out yesterday, and it was like a love letter to his exes, being like, just because I'm married with someone else doesn't mean that I don't care about you and have feelings toward you. And I'm like, oh my God. Can't you just let it die?
Jalen Black, you are HSP, but in your case, it stands for heavily sassy person.
Aww.
It's not for highly sensitive. You're heavily sassy. It's
Heavily
different.
sassy.
Means when you need to, you can bring enough sass to knock the doors off of a building.
Aww. That's nice.
Don't random touch the INFP. You shouldn't really random touch anybody, frankly.
I do sometimes. It's on accident.
Except for Ronnie Random Touch, who loves being randomly touched. I'm Ronnie Random Touch. Eric, do you have a TikTok? No. Do ISTPs eat poopies? Yes. Well, I'll take this out.
Poopies.
I feel my buddies. Why do INFPs hate each other? They don't. I just said they're natural enemies. It doesn't mean they hate each other. Just like cats and dogs are natural enemies, but you can train them to live together.
That's funny, Tiny Man 66. That's definitely accurate.
When INTP relatives ex-INFP sends him letters after years of separation when he's in a relationship. Ay. They get along so well, though. INFP and INFP. They really don't. I mean, they're fine. They're not like at each other's throats. I'm just saying they're not a good pairing any more than ENTJ and ENTP is. Might be fine for a lunch. Sitting down, chatting, shooting the shit, talking shop over lunch, something fine.
Yeah.
But it's like when it gets down to it, if you're trying to cooperate on something at all, there's a conflict of values.
Thank you, Rose Quartz. I appreciate that.
Hi, Kyra. Hi, Rose Quartz.
I went to Eric's barber in Cloverly Barbershop, and she was great. The last interaction I had with an INFP, so I was a head camp counselor last year for the Hempstead Hispanic Society, and there was an INFP girl there. She told me that she was INFP. I was like, oh, cool, and we were able to. We took quizzes together, and she did help me out a lot. But at the end of camp, we were both supposed to get tutoring jobs there. So help the after school program and get paid for it. Well, they never called me until they needed me, of course. And then she was there too. And I asked her, I was like, what are you doing here? Are you volunteering or are they paying you? Straight up asked. And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, girl, in my head, I was like, you've been helping that place out for how many years? You are of legal age to be getting money, like, they're using you. Like, you need to fucking leave. But she wasn't going to, so I was just like, I gave her a face of like that sucks, sorry. And that was the last I ever saw her.
Let's be fair, though. INFJs can hold on to relationships, too, just silently and unbeknownst. I mean, I think I see that version of INFJ and Corey, primarily, who never did leave his INFP wife. He's an INFJ, she's an INFP, and she's BPD too, so it's obviously I had my opinions about his relationship, and his position on it was that he had too much invested into it. You had a couple kids with her, then you kind of trying to put you in a different place, I guess. Executive functioning and time management. Two things that I score very highly on.
Me too.
I'm tired. I'm ready to stop this live stream now.
Okay. Sounds good.
I would like to thank everybody for being here.
Yes, thank you for this conversation.
INFPs, INFJs, and interested third parties. I appreciate your contributions to the discussion.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope you have a very pleasant afternoon.
And everyone can be friends with everyone. Just a little bit of knowledge of the function.
Even if you're natural enemies like INFP and INFJ.